So the people I have in mind when making this video is the people who have a real strong need to be something more than what they are, and this might be like a provider or somebody who has achieved everything and can finally rest and relax. And I have been through all that. Like, I made upwards of 100 cold calls a day, sometimes more, for months on end, and I tried to continue doing that through college because I desperately wanted to make a certain amount of money per month, get a bunch of clients on retainer for social media marketing, and then make an income so that I wouldn't be financially dependent on my parents and I could move out so I couldn't be dependent on anyone. And I went through all that and none of it ever worked. Like, nobody would ever actually pay me, and the one person who did pay me, I failed to deliver him results, and that was such a huge um, loss of identity for me. Like, I had failed him and I had failed in what I had promised, and this was probably my only chance for a long, long time that I get to prove that I could actually deliver results and potentially get the flywheel finally going. And once I failed in that, I was broken. Like, I was broken for a long time, and this is because I kind of weighed my identity on my ability to provide and my ability to not be worthless and not be useless. And there's such a sinister kind of subtle self-loathing that comes along with that, because you're not comfortable with who you are because you haven't done this thing, but that's just a smokescreen in that you're not comfortable with who you are, full stop. If you take away all of the pomp and all of the achievements and accomplishments, which I certainly had a lot of, then what are you? You're just an empty vessel. And this video is talking about why it's okay to be pathetic, why it's okay to be useless, why it's okay to be worthless. And I'm not saying, I'm not validating that you're worthless or anything, but I'm just saying you feel worthless, but that's okay. It just means that, look, that's a normal human feeling, and it's not something you should ever run away from. You shouldn't run away from the feeling of being pathetic. What you should not do is try to do things to prove that you're not pathetic, because that just validates your insecurity. Let's suppose that, for instance, I had gotten clients, I had gotten to 10 grand a month, and I had managed to move out, and I had done all of that stuff. Then I would be a man living in the closest town, not talking to my family, which is fine. I likely wouldn't have friends, and I would be running my agency, and it would be working, and that would be all good. But I would just be dead inside, and there would be no sort of actual self-care or self-love or anything like that, because it was on the condition that I succeeded, that I actually take care of myself. And had I not succeeded, then it wouldn't have came to fruition. I wouldn't have been validated in, oh, I can finally relax now. That would have never come to pass. And I would have started maybe taking care of myself, but not much less so than now. The alternative direction that did actually come about, where I failed and I wasn't able to do it. And since then, I've failed on a lot of things, and I've gotten worse and worse in terms of my burnout threshold. Like, I get tired so much quicker now, and I realise it's because I have this disability, this social disability, which I'll talk about in a future video. And I've failed in, like, being able to perform at the level that I used to. I used to be able to work 12 hours a day. I used to be able to study non-stop. I used to be able to go out. Now I am just a husk of that version of myself. I am unable to go out without, like, having a panic attack. I am completely sensitive to the emotions of everyone around me, and I'm unable to work for long periods of time by any stretch of the imagination. I could not work for 5 days a week. I could not survive in a workplace, and I could not surround myself with people who I have to talk to all day. I'm just not fit for that. I'm not strong enough, and that's okay because I have other strengths. I am extremely insightful, and I have very high emotional intelligence. Hence the reason that I get tired out quickly by people, because whenever people are exhibiting emotions, an affective emotion, I feel every ounce of that, and I feel even what they don't feel. I feel what they're unconscious of. and especially when people are unconscious, I feel that it's very empathic of an attribute to have, and I have that to in an extreme degree. So I have that, and with my disability as well comes certain strengths in logic and thinking and consciousness as well. I am way more conscious than most people are, and I'm unable to survive around most people at the same time. So with emotional insight comes emotional vulnerability, which again I'll talk about that in a future video. But I am a lot more sensitive to criticism, and I am a lot more um, unable to deal with the emotions of people, and I'm very aware of a lot of my weaknesses, which is why I'm actually applying for allowance for my disability. Um, I'm not sure if I get it because I'm in a maths degree now, 3 out of 4 years done, but I am so tired of that maths degree. I'm so tired of it. I don't like the content, and I am very much in a position where I struggle to keep up with it just because it stresses me out and burns me out so exhaustively. And I've seen people who, and I'm not trying to talk down on them, but I don't know if they are as intelligent as me, who are doing like better than me in the course. Um, Not as intelligent overall, like not as emotionally intelligent, because there's more to intelligence than just doing mathematics. But they have the content down to a T, and they're able to understand everything that the professor is telling them, every sort of um, innuendo, every little suggestion that they make in a split second, which I might miss or something like that. And they're also able to sit through entire lectures without batting an eye, whereas that would just kill me at this point. Like I'm so unable to do that. Um, and another thing that I have done that kind of proves that I'm pathetic, but not in a bad way, just in a I'm unable to do this sort of way. I suppose pathetic in itself, it means something you feel bad for. So I don't mean something you should feel bad for in terms of that kind of pathetic. I mean in terms of a weakness that you have come to terms with, a little characteristic that you were supposed to fall short on. I cannot deal with dense, oblivious people who are completely unaware of themselves and their own insufficiencies in their consideration towards others. That really tires me out. It's not that I have a personal vendetta of rage or revenge against them, it's just that I literally cannot stand their energy. It just sucks the living life force out of me. Even the dog, when my sister goes away and the dog has to stay in my room for the day, I just get so unbelievably tired because that dog just needs attention non-stop, and now I have to leave her out of the room because I just cannot stand it. Those are a lot of weaknesses that I've had to come to terms with, and had I not come to terms with them, I would try and continually try to fit this character that I have built for myself that I just am not. For instance, I cannot work in a hotel, but I could actually reflect on myself, which most people cannot do, and I think that's way more important. Being yourself is far more important, and the plight of the individual in modern society heavily weighs on the suppression of the self and the unconscious, and regression of the shadow into obscurity. That's the main reason that people don't really advance, and this is all the more confirmed and validated when we find that millions of people all over the world are fitting this identity of society the society has constructed for them, and this is society just says to work harder, to be strong, to never admit any sort of weakness or anything like that, never actually be vulnerable to anyone. And it's just sickening to me because it's just so egoistic and so unwilling to admit that look, we have weaknesses, and we're not exactly. I don't like the way my hair is coming out there, but hey, another weakness, slight insecurity about me. I don't. My hairstyle is it's okay, but it doesn't look exactly right here. Of course, I haven't brushed it either, but whatever. But yeah, you just need to be okay with not being the best at everything, being the best of everything. Like, let the NPCs do the hard jobs because they're unaware of the existential suffering that comes along with it, because they have chosen to put their eggs in the physical world rather than the spiritual one. You're not that. if you relate to me at all, which you may not, because very, very few people relate to me, which is why these videos aren't going to get many views. I'm fine with that. I would rather maybe some people actually kind of get validated in what they already know. Like, okay, I'm kind of feeling not great, but maybe it's okay that I'm not feeling great. And sometimes it's a situation where I end up feeling better afterwards when I kind of give into that feeling a little bit. In that I allow myself to rest and relax. If I really don't feel like coming to work, then I just call in sick because I don't want to, and it would cost me a part of myself I wouldn't want to be willing to give away to do that. It's to validate that and say, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's more of that. It just tells me that I'm not exactly going insane in this world. That's what I think. Thanks for watching.